Tone's mad at me.
I'm not mad.
No, you want a better explanation than what I gave you.
No, I'm not mad at all.
I said explain to everybody how I said it, just real quick.
I was just saying I think you are incorrectly linking spending money with a bigger desire to win. I think that
I'm incorrectly doing that?
I think that is...
Well, your statement was they are just trying to stay afloat, trying to stay in the black on wins, right? And you're talking about the Dolan's, Paul Dolan's.
Yeah, I'll explain it better. Because I think that, well, first off, I think that's how the majority of Cleveland fans feel.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I think they feel that way because...
The voice for the voiceless, damn
because they think that magically, if we just spent more money, we would have won the World Series. And I just not everything we know about baseball. It's not really how it works.
You can have a $300 million payroll, but I think that what people are asking is you in your own way, you go for it. Now, what does go for it look like? Well, I don't know. You ask 100 people, I think you're going to get 100 different answers when it comes to baseball. I'll explain it as best I can here. It's not that Paul Dolan is the biggest jerk in the history of owners, for crying out loud, even though it comes off that way. I was pretty abrasive in it. When it comes to Jimmy Haslam and the Browns, there is a shared desire to win and to do what's necessary to win, even if what they believe is necessary is totally incorrect. And it's been at times. With the Cavs, there is a shared desire to win and to do what's necessary to win, even if that's a really, really, really good thing like we've been seeing here over the last few years. Or, I mean, they've made some silly decisions here and there in the past, but they've made a lot more good ones than they've made bad ones. So they've been very successful in that way. So you have one side of the coin and you have the other, where it's a shared experience. The shared desire to win. I think Antonetti and Shapiro, they look at their piggy bank and what they could spend, and they go, they definitely want to win. It is not my belief that Antonetti and Shapiro don't want to win. They desperately want to win. Shapiro, Chernoff. Antonetti and Chernoff don't want to win. They absolutely want to win. I think for Paul Dolan, he believes it is more important to run the business the proper way, to keep the team in a good situation so that they can sprinkle in here and there. I don't believe his major desire as of right now is he has to have a championship. The other two owners, I believe they have to have a championship. Yes.
He wants to be operationally competitive.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well,
he knows.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, wait a second.
I don't think that's a terrible thing to say.
I think he knows that if he spent, do you want him to get to league average? League average is 70 million. They're down 70 million from league average. If he did that all of a sudden, threw 70 million in, and then we didn't win because how many other teams have spent league average and don't win the World Series? Would that be good for you if they spent league average, Kenny? Would that get you to a point where you thought they were doing everything they could to win?
For the most part, I thought they've done a good job, but I'm just telling you how people feel about this.
I'm asking how you feel. I'm asking how you. Well,
I feel.
I'd like you to answer the question.
I just told you.
You didn't. If they spent $70 million more, that would get them to league average. Would you then come on the air and say they've done everything they can to win?
Yes.
Okay. And then if we didn't
win, why do I
win,
sound so exasperated?
And then if we didn't win, I think a bunch of fans would say we didn't spend enough money.
Well, that I don't know what else
because
to tell you.
They'd still only be at league average, and they'd still be $150 million less than the teams at the top.
But I could still come up with a better example, or I could come up with a better argument than what I've had to come up with over the last couple of years, where I've had people who cover the team tell me I was flat out wrong. That when I asked, I felt that they could not invest more because of the TV deal, which you and I have been very open-minded on, because you're going from around $50 million to
next to nothing.
Next to nothing.
Guys, they're running PSAs during the ad spots when you're watching a Guardians game. That means they are not selling the advertising. They went from making, they were projected to be in the 50s to maybe, I've seen some say 60 million this year under the old cable deal. That's gone. How much do you think they're getting for the Indians or the Guardians television network?
I think that
they're not even running ads.
And I think that explains my entire argument. I think that Paul Dolan sees that and goes, whoa, wait a minute. If we spend into this, we're going to find ourselves either in the red or deeper in the red than what we already are.
They'd be done for.
We can't do that. And so while he's going to be called every name in the book, and he's the owner of the baseball team, and that's what owners are basically meant for, he's going to do what he considers to be responsible by the organization and not run them into the ground. I think that a guy like Paul Dolan is appalled that the Padres had to take a loan out to meet payroll. Even though the Padres make their fans happy. Their fans are delighted that they're trying to go all in. Now, it's a one-team town, but their fans are over the moon with it. But I think Paul Dolan looks at that and goes, that's irresponsible, and that can't happen for the future. And he's probably right about that. Because I don't know if there's some golden parachute of a TV deal that's going to help out Major League Baseball. I mean, Rob Manfred spoke about that in his press conference and in his interviews before the All-Star festivities earlier this week. And I mean, he was like, hey, we're on a lot of platforms, and it's because we're on so many platforms, it's kind of hard to find us. I mean, how many different platforms have the Guardians been on? It was you were on a wild goose chase for a weekend once with the Roku, the Tubi, YouTube TV we've had before.
They were on technically 5 different outlets.
That's
in
right.
Like a 7-game stretch.
Exactly. I mean, you have that many different outlets. You have your fans. It's kind of hard to find. I mean, the Cavs have been on a few different ones, but it's FanDuel TV. The Browns, well, that's a different entity because that's the NFL. And I mean,
it's just fine. You brought up the Padres. How many years has it been since they went on the spending spree?
It's been a few, and they haven't been able to cash in. Yeah, they haven't been able to cash in.
Yeah, Padres have 7 more wins over the last 5 years than the Guardians.
And
you said the Padres fans are thrilled.
They are thrilled.
They are going out of their mind.
But I'm talking about
5 more wins.
And I'm saying that again over the course of history. Have I not? I have not once ripped on Antonetti and Chernoff over this. And so, I mean, you could say that some of the moves that they made haven't been great, but if they only have 7 more wins, I think that's proof positive why I'm not ripping on Antonetti and Chernoff. I've not ripped on those 2 guys and what they've done with their front office. The ownership's a different story. And the ownership would tell me, well, Ken, tough you-know-whats. This is the whole reason you have my fiscal responsibility is the whole reason you have a team to bitch about in the middle of July instead of just being the Pirates. And then you guys could sit there and talk about Shedeur Sanders and what type of sandwich he ate.
See, and
I think that's what probably Paul Dolan would tell me right now.
That's been my argument. I think if we tried to run it any different way, I think baseball would be irrelevant in this town. I don't disagree with you. It would be Pittsburgh.
I don't disagree, and I do not. For the record, I do not disagree with you. I agree with you on that. But that's the frustrating thing is that they do just enough with what they have to make the fan base really upset. And because the fan base doesn't want to hear about money.
Didn't you agree with me that somebody like it's tough to parse it out because Blitzer and Harris, his partner, they have their sports group that's worth like $12 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But if it were just in this case, Blitzer, right? Didn't you agree with me that he wasn't going to run this not like a business?
Yes, I agree with you.
So who are the guys lining up to run this not like a business? Where are all the people? I know everybody's like, oh, I wish Dan Gilbert would just buy.
So you're agreeing with me.
He's not.
You're agreeing with me.
He's not. Why isn't Dan Gilbert buying the Guardians?
You're arguing with me, but you're agreeing with me. You're agreeing with me on the whole thing. Is that not once have you told me or given me any evidence to the contrary of anything that I've stated here over the past 10 minutes? Or really since this 2 segments ago when that started, you've not given me any evidence to the contrary. When they get a little bit of more money, he has spent to it, and he's done what he's needed to do. He's not going to go hog wild out there and go into hawk like I bring up with the Padres, and I brought up the Padres before. He's not an irresponsible owner. He has things that he has to deal with that the other 2 guys in town don't have to deal with. Okay, that's on him. That's the business he's chosen. And I think that as a responsible owner, I do think he feels a civic responsibility to the team as far as being a Clevelander and having a team in Cleveland. And it worries me about the Blitzers when they take over, when David Blitzer takes over, because I think that then you'll just have an outsider who runs a team like a business. And if you think you don't like Paul Dolan now, get a roll to that when that happens at some point.
And especially when that outsider comes in and then after a couple bad years goes, we're going with new management. And now you don't even have the security blanket that has been Shapiro, Chernoff, Antonetti. Like, that's gone. How do you think that is going to proceed forward? And I was just telling you this. If there was so much money that I've heard people say Dolans are just banking money. Of course, the people that I've talked to there in the know are like, that is not the case at all. But if you believe that was the case.
One round of golf, and all of a sudden the people in the know.
Here's what I want to know. Where are all the people trying to get in? Where's the bidding war to try to get in on the Guardians. If the business was that robust, where all, you know what they're doing? They're paying top dollar for NBA teams. They're paying twice as much. What the Rays just went for
1.7.
1.7. The Mavericks got 3.5. Right. The Lakers got like what, 10? The Celtics got 6. Okay, if baseball was just this huge cash cow and any other owner outside of Paul Dolan would come in and just throw $200 million a year, where is it? Where's the bidding war? Because I think the Dolans would probably sell if that were the case.
Yeah, was it the Orioles were sold last year for like 1.6, 1.7?
Yeah, the business is not, and with the collapse of the regional sports network, it's over. This is a distressed asset right now.
Anthony, I know that. But you're not. Nothing of what you said was to the contrary of what I said. You frankly agree with me. You agree with me.
I don't agree with you that they're not trying to win. I totally disagree.
Who are they?
The Dolans. That Paul Dolan's not trying to win. I categorically disagree.
I think they're trying to win. I think they're. Are you trying to win? Questions. Are they trying to win? Hold on. Are they trying to win? Or are they trying to win at all?
Baseball, all the teams are trying to get it. No, hold on.
My answer.
No, you don't have your answer. That's silly.
Got my answer.
There are only 3 teams in Major League Baseball trying to win it all.
And that's the problem we've had with Major League Baseball.
Oh, so your problem's with baseball, not the Dolans. You got to make up your mind. What's your problem with?
Our Dolans are. Wait a minute. They're part of the club of owners that are Major League Baseball. They are Major League Baseball for crying out loud.
Ken, you just admitted there are only 3 teams that are trying to win it all.
They are Major League Baseball for crying out loud. And I would probably bring up more teams that are not just the 3 teams.
5?
You're going to put me in a hole.
Are there 5?
I would give you 6 right off the tippy top.
How much do you have to spend to be considered, quote, winning it all? Because before you said 170 million. Now I need a number.
I didn't give you numbers. I didn't give you any numbers.
70 million.
You said 70 million more.
170 would be league average. And I asked you, would you consider that going all in?
Considering their constraints, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So it's not 3 teams, it's not 5 teams. Now you're saying half the teams.
Average? Because that would be top 6 in baseball.
170 is league average if you figure in what that is the mean.
Yeah, that'd be top 6 in baseball, though. That's
so
I get so money spending wise.
Tell me how many teams?
Because the top 5 spend out of their ass.
Yeah, so
the rest of us have to suffer for
it. Yes, there you go. That's the problem.
I get that.
Is the problem. That is the problem. That's what people like Paul Dolan are saying. This is such a ridiculous system to begin with.
But if the average, if it's more than half are not spending that, then the more than half,
Anthony,
should be able to at least be in the competitive part of making the playoffs.
Were we competitive last year in the playoffs?
Yeah, in the playoffs, yeah.
And you're still.
Are we not trying to win?
You're not seeing it.
Are we not trying to win? Ken, were we competitive in the playoffs? Ken, were we competitive in the playoffs last year? Were we trying to win last year?
I've answered your question. Yes. I've answered your question.
Oh, wait a second.
You answered my question.
He just conceded.
Now we're just going to
yell over
each other. Can I talk?
You just said we're trying to win. You just conceded.
What have I conceded?
You just said we were trying to win after saying we weren't trying to win.
So wait a minute.
Make up your mind.
Wait a minute. They had a not so good season the year before. They had a not so good season this year. They had a good season last year. I would say maybe they fell bass backwards into some of that. But again, you're not seeing the point of it. Is when you're telling me about all these teams that are spending into this money and how it's not their fault. The majority of Guardians fans, and let me make this as clear as possible. Remember, I'm not the one yelling here for everybody scoring at home. The majority of Guardians fans are going, I almost cussed. I don't give a bleep. Stop crying poor and just sell your team. And then I will just yell at those guys. And I could say, fair warning all I want,
that for a decade.
But I'm telling you how the fans feel. Yeah. I'm just telling you how the fans feel.
And
they
again,
do not care about hearing about money.
Every
day. And you defending millionaires every day.
Then you're following the wrong sport. Then you're following the wrong sport.
We're rolling 2 different problems into one right now.
It's amazing.
Before the season starts, it's Dolan's fault for not spending the money. In the season, we haven't spent the money. Okay, let's move on. They have not brought up the kids, and that is Antonetti's fault.
It is the ultimate slippery wizard move where Anthony Ocasio-Cortez defends the richest men in town.
You're saying he has no money. So I think I'm defending the working class owner.
That's what
you're the
doing.
one going with
the working class owner.
You're the one going with the Haslams and the Gilberts.
Hard scrabble.
So which ones are you supporting?
Over there. Oh my goodness! Yes, he's making ham salad sandwiches for his children right now. Oh my goodness!
It seems like kind of a lousy comparison, if you ask me.
Bootstraps. Lord, I have heard enough.